Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news. The faint glow of the monitors bordering the walls illuminated the eerily still hospital room. Shaeeda's face was pale against the white pillow as she lay still on the bed. The deafening silence was punctuated by the continuous beep of her cardiac monitor. Bilal was sitting next to her in a chair with a rigid back, his head bent and his hands firmly gripped around hers. Normally squared with confidence, his shoulders now drooped under the weight of his anxieties. The last several days had been a roller coaster of feelings, a sudden plunge from their ecstasy. Days before, their newborn boy had come, and as Bilal and Shaeeda celebrated their victory with tears in their eyes, the delivery room was filled with his little cries. That happiness seemed like a faraway recollection now. Their joy had been transformed into a never-ending nightmare by Shaeeda's unexpected health issues. On the bedside table was a little photograph of their son, his delicate features locked in a serene grin. Bilal's gaze frequently strayed to it, and the picture brought him both comfort and suffering. He kept thinking about how their son would grow up without knowing the amazing mother who had given birth to him. He tightened his hold on Shaeeda's hand as if to firmly ground her in this world as the notion tore at him. Bilal could still clearly recall the delivery room, which stood in sharp contrast to the hospital's current sterile silence. He could still hear Shaeeda's ragged breathing, the medical staff's reassuring cries, and his own voice quivering as he pushed her forward. "Love, you've got this. I've met no stronger woman than you." Her resolve showed through the pain as she squeezed his palm till he felt it could shatter. Their son's first wail pierced the air, and then it occurred. Bilal has never heard a more exquisite sound. As Shaeeda held their infant for the first time, her tiredness turned into a dazzling grin. With pride and love in his heart, Bilal had planted a kiss on her forehead. Everything they had battled for had seemed to come together in that moment, a fresh start. However, that commencement had been cut short. Shaeeda's illness has now completely upended their world. Bilal found it difficult to understand the doctor's cautious speech patterns and the medical jargon they used. Critical monitoring, increased risk, postpartum complications. He felt a great sensation of powerlessness as the words merged into one another. He was a problem solver and a man of action, but this was beyond his capabilities. He had no choice except to wait, pray, and hold out hope. Bilal entered the hallway, needing to take a breath. The sound of nurses walking down the hall was accompanied by the faint buzzing of fluorescent lights above. Leaning against the wall, he pressed his palms into his eyes as if to stifle the tears that threatened to fall. "Bilal." When he looked up, he saw Aliyah, his sister, coming. She had a worried, determined look on her face. In times of difficulty, she had always been the one to keep him grounded. "How is she doing?" With a calm and gentle tone, Aliyah questioned. "She's steady, but..." His voice broke as he hesitated. "The doctors are unsure of the exact cause. They are doing experiments, but we seem to be in a state of uncertainty. Aliyah, I feel so worthless. I am unable to repair this." Aliyah touched his shoulder in a kind manner. "Bilal, you don't have to make all the repairs. Being there is all you can do at times. This is the second time you've done that for her. You must be strong for her because she is strong." Bilal nodded, but his anxieties still weighed heavily. After wiping his eyes, he went back to Shaeeda's chamber and sat down next to her again. As the hospital calmed down that evening, Bilal leaned forward and rested his head on Shaeeda's palm. "You frighten me," he muttered. Even though his voice was hardly heard, it was raw with emotion. "Even though I've always vowed to keep you safe, you're fighting now. Without you, Shaeeda, I don't know what I would do. Our son needs his mother. I am in need of you." He turned to look at the picture on the bedside table. Holding it close as if he were getting strength from the picture, he picked it up. "He's flawless," Bilal remarked quietly. "He would be, as you always said. I want him to know how wonderful his mother is as he gets older. You need to get back to us." A glimmer of optimism appeared in the morning. Shaeeda moved for the first time in days when sunshine came in through the blinds. She opened her eyes, and when she looked up a little, she saw Bilal dozing off on the chair. Quietly, the nurse came in to check her vitals. "Hello, Shaeeda," the nurse remarked, smiling broadly. "Your tests appear to be improving. You appear to be getting better." A slight smile curved Shaeeda's lips. "Really?" she said in a voice that was almost audible above a whisper. The nurse said, "Really? Remain in bed. Your family depends on you." Bilal awoke upon hearing the talk, his gaze instantly meeting Shaeeda's. As he reached closer and took her hand in his, relief washed over his face. His voice was shaking with passion as he said, "You're getting better. Our prayers are having an effect." The day they had been anticipating finally came a week later. Shaeeda was released, gradually regaining her strength. With their infant son waiting in the car, Bilal wheeled her out of the hospital. Shaeeda started crying when she saw their son. As they started the drive home, she held him close to her, her heart bursting with appreciation. With passion in her voice, she added softly, "We're going home. With each other." Bilal looked at her, his face lighting up with a smile. He declared, "This is only the beginning. The three of us, more powerful than before." The stress of the previous weeks started to fade as the automobile pulled away from the hospital. Despite the uncertainty of the journey ahead, they found hope in their love and fortitude. Together, they would take each obstacle one step at a time and overcome it. This gossip is over. If you liked the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.